how are you? It's Andrea here. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Abby will be getting up from her nap shortly, but I wanted to come on here and share with you a couple of thoughts that I've had. So just chit chat. This may come out as a ramble, so I apologize in advance if it's hard to follow, but I definitely wanted to share my thoughts with you. And it is about pressure in relation to parenting, and the pressure that we put on young children. So I feel like as a society, we put so much pressure on parents to parent their children in a specific way and get their children to behave a certain way. And I'm not talking just good behavior, although that's a huge part of it, but I'm talking just like interactions, like trying to control little ones' interactions, even from the baby stage and the toddler stage, and I've noticed that. Examples would be, Abby, when she was a baby, when other babies would if you would smile at a baby, they would tend to smile back at you. There's that natural mirroring smile reflex. Well, Abby did not do that. If an adult smiled at her, she would not necessarily smile back most of the time. In fact, she wouldn't. And she still doesn't. Abby smiles when she wants to. Abby smiles when she's happy. And when she has a genuine desire to smile, that's when she smiles. And I noticed I would get comments, from others, from other parents, from non-parents, from professionals that we would work with, commenting that she appeared grumpy or, in a bad mood, or she wasn't responding well to them or didn't like them or something. And I know, because I'm Abby's parent, that was not and is not the case. Abby was most likely not in a grumpy mood. That's just not something that she did or does. She doesn't necessarily smile back. And I know that about her, and it doesn't mean she's in a bad mood or that she doesn't like a person. It's just not something that she does. But I notice since Abby's born, I've always been really sensitive to these comments and observations. Because she's spirited, and I've noticed myself that she's a little bit different. Her temperament's a little bit different, and some of her interactions and the way that she relates to others into the world is a little bit different, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's good to take note and to share it, with her pediatrician. But, I've been sensitive to that because she's a little different. And I find that those comments are just not helpful. And they put a lot of added and extra pressure on me. And I'm not necessarily that other people are putting this pressure on me, but I'm saying that I have internalized it, and I put this pressure on myself. So I don't want to put it on other people. I've internalized and I put this pressure on myself for Abby to respond a certain way. And that's just a lot. Parenting is already challenging. It's rewarding, but it's also very challenging. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in our world. And there's already enough stuff. And to keep track of whether, how Abby interacts with others, it's just unnecessary. It's really unnecessary. And I know that it's not just my child. I know that this occurs a lot. I hear these comments. I hear these comments in the playground. I hear these comments from other parents. This comparison, this judging. And it seems innocent. And I think most of the time it's from a well-meaning or innocent place. And you could say it's from an observational place. But honestly, I think it really speaks to a culture and a society where we are just so judgmental, and we're judging parents, and we're making parenting more difficult than it needs to be. And the other side of the coin, which I think is more damaging, is the fact that we are judging babies and toddlers and young children. I hear these comments, and I myself am guilty of it because I've thought I've compared Abby to other babies and to other toddlers. I myself have partaken in it, and that worries me, that concerns me, that we're putting this pressure on little ones already. Not that we should anyway, but like it's wild that it's already happening from the time that they're born, practically. To like notice every time they don't behave in the expected way, or in the way that like is, you know, like the desired reaction or response or something. Yeah, I've noticed that. I hear it actually a lot more than I thought I would. And I just want to step away from that. I mean, you know, with me thinking this, I thought about the connection between the pressure that we're putting, the social pressure that we're putting on little ones, and how that there is a tendency for a lot of people, myself included, to people please, to this tendency to be people pleasers, and to struggle with assertiveness and a sense of autonomy and freedom and confidence to make your own life choices. Like, that is a huge thing. That's huge. And I'm starting to feel like, and this is just me talking out loud and making connections, like maybe, I'll speak for myself, maybe I have a tendency to people please because, you know, I'm brought up in a culture, in a society, in a community where there is so much pressure to conform and to act and behave in a certain way. Act and behave in a way that is pleasing to others. Instead of just allowing us to relate naturally and being okay with differences and being okay with things that don't always look like the perfect behavior, the perfect expected behavior, I would say. So I'm putting that together, and I just wanted to share my thoughts with you, and I want to share with you, like I said, I have been a part of it, and I no longer want to be a part of it. I no longer want to be a part of it. Maybe this is something that, you know, you haven't noticed, or you haven't, like, you naturally just, like, don't have these thoughts, you know, you don't compare. I think comparison is completely normal and natural, but maybe you haven't experienced that as a parent or with your child, which is good, but I just want to share, I no longer want to be a part of that. I really want to step away from that narrative, from all of that, and just let Abby be who she is, accept her where she is, who she is right now, and let her grow freely into the person that she's meant to be without placing my expectations on her, or, I don't know, giving her the freedom to not live up to anyone else's expectations either. I want her to have that sense of freedom, that she is good as she is. And I want that for your child too. I want that for all children, for them to just, for all of them to just be free to be who they are. And if they're different is good. It's not bad. And, you know, a lot of perceived misbehavior in young children, I think a lot of it is, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, and I am not a pediatric or child's therapist or professional, but, you know, they're just, my belief is they're just learning how to communicate with the world and taking everything in and trying to make sense of it. And that is great. That's good and great. And I want to give them the space and the freedom to do that respectfully. So I just wanted to share my thoughts with you on that. It's definitely something that's been weighing on me, and I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions and your perspective on this. Have you felt a lot of pressure to parent a specific way? Have you noticed that your child, like, do you receive comments about your little one and, you know, whether they're meeting some sort of expectation or standard or not? Like, have you overheard other parents talk about other children even? Leave that below in the comment section. I would really like to hear that. And I'm hoping that we can come together and just move into a new place and a new space of really accepting one another as parents, accepting our children, and as a community as a whole. So thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.